and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that we could do a poetry writing exercise. The last one that I did back in August got so much good feedback, and I actually still keep getting comments with you guys replying with your poems, and I loved reading them. I love getting them in my email and just like being able to have like a poem sent to me, and it's cool to see like what's going on in you guys' brains and just like see everybody let out their creativity a little more, because I feel like we don't always share that with each other as often as I think we would all enjoy seeing each other's creativity. So this exercise I made up and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a New Year's themed poetry writing exercise, and it's designed to kind of be introspective and make you guys think about what made you happy or sad last year, what things you did that you enjoyed, and it kind of lets you see if you made like the most of your year, and if you didn't, then there's always this year. So hopefully after writing this poem you'll kind of have a grasp on what you want to do in 2014 to make sure that you stay happy, that you keep doing things that you enjoy and make you excited. So with that being said, let's get started. Now the rules are pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do is take out pen and paper, or if you're on your computer already, honestly it's a little easier to do this on the computer because when you edit and like copy and paste stuff, it takes a lot less time if you're doing it on your computer than with pen and paper. So we're going to be writing the answers to 17 questions that I'll ask you, and you will answer them and write them down as soon as I ask the question. And really you should try to answer as quickly as possible so that it's really organic. It doesn't have to be like the best answer because we're not trying to be perfect here. We're just trying to kind of get your juices flowing and get your mind thinking about stuff and making connections. To me, that's what poetry writing exercises help me do, is kind of bring together separate thoughts and ideas and make them one, and that lets me, I think, analyze things and understand them a little better. So I will ask you the question, you will answer, and when we're done with those 17 questions, I will have you kind of put them together in a different order, and then we'll create like a skeleton of a poem. And from there, you can either leave it as is, like a very minimalist poem, or you can fill it in, change some wording, switch around order, and just like make it sound a little bit nicer if you want. And if not, it's just a nice creative exercise to have fun with. So, alright, I guess that's it for the rules. And yeah, here's number one. So number one is write 2 or 3 of your most vivid moments from 2013. Moments where they're so vivid in your mind that you can really picture them. You can almost like be back there and feel like, the wind or the rain or whatever was going on at that time. Just moments that really stick out for you from 2013. And you might want to pause the video after each question so that you have the time to like write it down, unless you're a speed typer, and that's okay. That probably works best. Number 2, write the age that you were on January 1st, 2013. Number 3, write down at least one place that you went to for the first time. It doesn't necessarily have to be a city. It could just be a new building, a new restaurant, a new museum you went to, just some different place. And then write what it's known for. Like a museum would be known for its art, obviously. Number 4, write one thing you did for the first time or a new experience. Number 5, write one thing that you learned about life. It can be a lesson or something very general. But yeah, I won't tell you my answer because you'll read it in the poem. Number 6, write 3 tastes from the past year. So foods or just like general tastes like savory or something that stick out in your mind. But I wrote raw olives, blood oranges, and igaves, which are amazing Greek beans. Number 7, write down the name of one person that you met this year. They don't have to have become a best friend or even a close friend. It could have just been a stranger that you had a conversation with once. That's who mine was. And then write down what you liked or disliked about them. What is it about them that made them stick out in your mind when I asked you this question? And I guess kind of what resonated with you about them, like just what makes them stick out in your mind. Number 8, write down one smell or one scent from the past year. And whenever I ask you to write down one of something, you can totally write down a few just so you have options, but some people, it just takes them a while to think of 3, and I don't want you guys to spend forever on this necessarily. Number 9, write one thing that surprised you most about yourself, good or bad. Number 10, write one thing that made you sad in 2013 and why. Number 11, write one thing you wanted to do but didn't get to. And this doesn't have to be anything that you feasibly could have done. It could be something that's entirely impossible. Just anything that you would have wanted to done. It could have been something like riding a unicorn, which is impossible, but it's something that you wanted to do and didn't get to. So my point is, think outside the box. It doesn't have to have been something like go to Europe or something that you could have done but just wasn't financially possible or something. So really think outside the box with these answers if you want to. Number 12, write down one adjective, one verb, and one noun for 2013. And it doesn't have to be something that encompasses all of 2013. It could have been one adjective from one moment in 2013 and one noun, try to have it be a concrete noun, by the way, something that is tangible, like an object or something, because intangible nouns are just a little harder to work with. So my adjective was ancient, and so that doesn't describe my whole year, just something within it. Number 13, write one thing that made you feel proud of yourself. And this doesn't have to be some great accomplishment like winning an award or having written a book or something. It can just be something little, something minor that you did that you'd been wanting to do, or that you never thought you could do or something, but just something little, even something like stopping biting your nails or something. It made you feel proud of yourself for whatever reason. Number 14, write one way in which you are different than you were at the beginning of 2013. So, for example, stronger, happier, wiser, kinder, bolder, calmer. Number 15, write one or two modes of transportation that you used in 2013 and where they took you. Number 16, write 3 questions that you were left with at the end of 2013. And again, these can be kind of out of the box. One of mine was, and the one I ended up using in the poem was, will I become immortal? And that's, that's a very maybe outside of the box question, but these are things that I think about, just weird questions. I don't always think about questions will I get a salary bump or something, but you can totally do that too. Number 17, write down 3 alliterations. And alliterations are, well, for this, write down 2 words where the first letter of each word is the same. Like perfect pizza. And one of the ones I used in the poem was humble humanity. So once you are done answering those 17 questions, then if you're using pen and paper, take out a new piece of paper, or if you're using your computer, just open up a new document. And the first thing I want you to do is to write your title, which you can get by combining number 2 and number 14. And so write that down as your title. Then for your first line, the first line of your poem, write down one of your answers to number 16. So one of those questions. And when I tell you to put something, like I said, it's kind of a skeleton, so you want to leave room as much as you can between each of the lines, because you might actually want to like change them around or fill in things in between to make them make sense, because from one line to the next it might not exactly flow, and it's kind of your job to, at the end of it, to make them fit together and to do sort of like a transition line or something to like tie them together. Now we're going to write the last section, like the last lines of your poem, and for the very last line I want you to write down your answer to number 11. And that was one thing you wanted to do but didn't get to. Then right above your last line, so the second to last line, write your answer to number 5, which is one thing you learned about life. And what I kind of like to do is when I combine those two, number 5 and number 11, I kind of tried to find the thin thread that tied those two together, or at least in my mind. And you might think that they don't go together, and they might not, so in that case you can totally like leave space between them and then connect them later. But if you do see a commonality between the two, then try to play up that with like how you put it into the poem. Now write the second line of your poem, and it is from number 1, and kind of think about that experience from number 1, that moment, and think about why it was so vivid to you, and like what it meant to you at its core, what that moment symbolized for you, why you remember it. Then below that, combine the answers to questions 7 and 9, and that was one person you met and what resonated with you about them, and then combine that with the one thing, number 9, the one thing that surprised you most about yourself. And I found that mine did actually go together, because the thing that I admired about the girl that I met was something that also I kind of learned about myself as the year went on, and that's why I kind of kept going back to that moment, because I thought just about that girl and what she represented to me and what I liked so much about her. Then below that, combine 2 answers from number 17, the 3 alliterations. So take 2 of your 2-word alliterations and then make a sentence out of them, or you could make 2 separate lines out of them. But for now you could even just write them down, and then later when you go back into the poem and kind of flesh it out, you can see how they fit in with everything. Then below that, so above your last 2 lines but below everything else that we've done so far, combine numbers 10 and 13. 10 was the one thing that made you sad and why, and 13 was one thing that made you feel proud of yourself. And so you want to combine those. I found that when I combined them, it was kind of that in spite of the thing that made me sad, there was something that I did that made me proud, kind of in light of that thing that made me sad. That was just a personal thing. It doesn't always go that way. But yeah, if you want to just like write them down for now, like I said, it's much easier to flesh out the poem later when you see the skeleton. So now so I guess go write that down now. And once you have your skeleton of your poem, like I said, you should really think about it. Well, if you want to keep it that way, like read it to yourself and think about it, think what it means to you, and then kind of fill it in from there if you want. I thought that it was, once I had that skeleton, I had so many ideas of how to connect and how to fill it out, and it just kind of like stuff that you might normally keep inside, I found was kind of just like coming out of me after I had written down that skeleton and realized like what I wanted to connect together and what I kind of wanted to make sense of in my head. And to me, that's kind of what poetry writing is about, is making sense of things that you might not normally take the time to think about or to be introspective about. And I really hope that this poem helped you guys. Like I said, once I wrote this poem, it kind of gave me a boost for what I wanted to do in 2013, how I wanted to spend it, what I was going to do to keep myself doing the things that that made me happy and that made me enjoy 2013 and feel like I spent the year really well. So if you guys want to hear my poem, it will be in the next video. I didn't want to include it in this because I didn't really want to mess you guys up for what you guys make out of your poem. But if you do want to see how mine turned out, then click on the next video. It will be up very shortly after this one, if not right after. So I hope to see you guys then, and stick around because for the rest of the year I will be doing a few more poetry writing exercises. I think they're so fun, and they're just a great way to get you to sit down with yourself for 30 minutes and think and just, you know, enjoy and really feel things that you don't maybe take the time to feel. So I hope that you guys have a great day. I hope that you enjoyed this exercise. Please subscribe if you liked this video, and if you want to see more exercises, leave me a comment below. And as always, if there's anything else that you guys want to see, then leave a comment and let me know. So have a great day, guys. Bye!